Hello, my name is Sherman Cox II. I want to thank you for coming to look at this video. We're going to actually start a series of videos with this one that's called Subtle Errors in the Pulpit. Subtle errors in the pulpit. These are errors that preachers make when constructing, planning, or preaching sermons. We're actually going to go through them one by one. This was a series that actually was done on soulpreaching.com about a year ago, and we're actually going to go back over them, looking at them again as we put together these videos. The other time we went through them, they were text. So these are going to be videos. Hopefully they'll be helpful to you. Today in video 1, we are going to talk about wrong truth. Wrong truth. The preacher can actually preach truth, but it not necessarily be the right truth for this particular congregation at this particular time. This is why it is very important to do sermon planning. Sermon planning will give you themes, texts, and ideas that need to be addressed in your particular congregation. Sometimes preachers get up and address things that are not necessarily needed by their particular congregation. I've seen it many times where preachers will get up and rail against legalists and legalism, when in reality their congregation actually has need to hear something about the importance of good ethical content by Christians. Some congregations need to hear that Christians need to live differently than those who are not Christians. And that particular idea is in many ways is true, but it is the opposite truth, or a balancing truth of the argument against legalism. So if we've got a congregation that is steeped in living that is not towards holiness, and you are railing against legalism and legalists, you may in some way support and promote that bent that is a wrong bent. Instead of using the right truth, you're using the wrong truth. Now, I'm not saying that if you're preaching to a congregation that is that has a serious moral sin problem, that you should never preach grace. Yes, you must preach grace. The important point that I'm making is, if you are always arguing against legalism and never preaching about the ethical demands of those who are living as Christians, then your sermon planning is not balanced enough to deal with the important truths that are necessary and needed in your congregation. There's other congregations who all they're hearing is about legalism may be the problem in that congregation, and all you hear are the ethical demands of the gospel. And if that is all you hear, and you never hear about God's forgiveness, never hear about that side of the equation, then you're also going to have problems as well. So the wrong truth is a big problem. However, as we said, the way around it is a solid sermon plan to find out the real needs in your congregation. And if you find out the real needs in your congregation, you can address them rather than addressing the phantom needs that come out when we do not do our due diligence of understanding our particular congregation. If this video was helpful to you, I encourage you to go to soulpreaching.com to find other resources just like this one. God bless you, and keep on preaching.